Hey you guys, it's your boy Bigwillthebarber 18 from Instagram, back at it in the YouTube studio. Today's lesson will be taught on the subject of tomfoolery. Now, let's get in it, man. Today is gonna be a little different, a little unorthodox. I'm gonna go ahead and it's kind of something been wanting to implement. Is like the storytelling a little bit. So we got so many stories that we want to tell, and I feel storytelling is one of the greatest and finest crafts and art shall I say there is, to be passed from generation to generation. So with that said, today's story will be about a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. I know him by the name, a lot of people know him by the name of Ghost. Devin Sanders, we call him Ghost. Rest his soul. Know you up there looking down on us, man. If he was with us today, then I know without a doubt that he would be right here, just cutting up and laughing and just enjoying this ride that we're on together. Devin, I know you with me, big dog. I know you with me. So this one's for you. So over the last 24 hours, I've actually had the pleasure, the honor of cutting Devin's son's hair, Riley, amongst others. And the entire time I was cutting his hair, I could do nothing more but see a young Devin. Like Devin, Ghost was that friend that anyone who met him knew that there was something special to this guy. Like he could get along with anyone. And you didn't want him on your bad side, or you didn't want to be on his bad side, shall I say. We lived together, we worked together, multiple jobs. Been knowing each other our whole lives, man, pretty much. As far as I can think back in my adolescent years as a child, Devin was there. He was a part of it. In the beginning, he was kind of like the little brother, like the little tag-along little brother to his older brother, Manning, who Manning and I were inseparable, the best of friends. But once you get out of high school and you start moving on with life and going into the real world, the big boys and big girls club, excuse me, things change. So everything that you know in high school, everything that is your world, everything, all your friends, your cliques, your squad, whatever you want to call it, like all that changes, and no one tells you that. So the ones that ride with you all the way through, the ones that go from schoolyard days to real life adult days, and in the real world, and they never drop like dead flies. Those are the ones you hold on to, you guys. Those are the ones that are rocking with you. And it's for a reason. There's some that you can't even get rid of if you try. But let's get into the story. So it crossed my mind that there's this one particular moment, you guys, where Devin and I were living together in an apartment in inner city in Lake Charles, Louisiana area. We were like fresh out of school, like only a little while out of school, you know, and just trying to, thought we knew what we were doing, man. Like we weren't even old enough. This is the crazy part. We weren't even old enough to have a lease to a place in our names. But we had one. So they say in the South, pimping is real. You can be pimped in many different ways, ladies and gentlemen. So there was this cat that come from up north, West Virginia, Elkins, West Virginia. Come down here, it was a bunch of them, a group of them. I don't even recall how I got clicked up with these guys, how any of that, but it did. And one of them, there was like one black guy, and I was like, well, let me see what this guy's about. But he was black in the sense of his skin complexion. He was dark. He was a darker guy. But no, not about. This dude was as white as the driven snow when he spoke and opened his mouth. But he was cool, man. Like he was quite the pushover, shall I say, for a little while. I guess throughout time I've learned it's a different life up north versus the way it is down here down south. Like down south, it's called the dirty for a reason. It's grimy. If you can manage to maintain and live in the dirty, you can live anywhere, I believe. Like this is it. But back to the story, you guys. His name was Lou, but we called him Thurgood after Thurgood Jenkins, the Dave Chappelle character that he played on the movie How High, because they looked very similar, very very similar. So old Thurgood, like he was like a few years older than us. So Thurgood, I'm still calling him Thurgood. We're gonna keep him at Thurgood for today, okay? Cool. You guys are good with that? That's what I thought. Thank you. Thurgood, we talked him into putting an apartment lease in his name. Did I mention we didn't have a vehicle either? No, we did not have a vehicle either. But Thurgood had a vehicle, and that was good enough. So he had this Lincoln Town car. Like it was a fairly decent car. It was newer in model as well. Well, so that gave us a home. It gave us a ride. Now we just needed food, so we had to get a job. That's where this story starts, you guys. The name I'm titling this story, Jack, the CONman. So, like in the '90s, early 2000s, the terminology, the term Jack meant someone went in your pockets. Somebody got you out of something that was yours. Like someone stole to be jacked. Okay. So, like I said, we're good. We just need jobs. Like, thank God I've been saved by the grace of God from the life I used to live. Some of the things that I've been through and the stuff that plenty of storytelling to go, okay? I think we were at like it was a Walmart parking lot. And we had been driving around in old Thurgood's car because nothing he was gonna say or tell us. Like, okay, we were quite the feisty young men in our days. So we're walking through like this Walmart parking lot. We'd been all over town, like putting in these job applications, trying to get gainful employment, shall I say? And I think Devin. I think old Ghost was on the phone, maybe? No. Okay, we were talking amongst each other, and I remember saying something about the Applebee's. There was an Applebee's restaurant in Lake Charles, Louisiana at the time, and we had a friend who worked there, Fontenot, one of the Fontenot twins who worked there, and we were just talking about it, and this older black guy comes strolling up. Real pimp swagger to him, but he was real clean, but he just walked, he walked a little different, okay? And he was in a Applebee's uniform. So he says, did I hear you guys say something about a job? And we're like, yeah, who are you? Like, who are you? He goes, he points to the insignia on his shirt, the Apple. And that's when I was like, oh, this guy might be one of the managers. So he says, well, I run the location, the Lake Charles location, and you guys are looking for a job. I can help you out with that. I'm actually out recruiting right now. So Devin and I are like, great, man. Like, that's cool. Like, we got the house, we got the car, we need a job. Job just pops up on us. Like, that's some luck, right? No. That was the beginning of a horrible, horrible day. Okay. So old Jack wearing the Applebee's uniform with the name tag, and the name tag said, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, Jack. So he was telling us without telling us. So naive. When we're young, we're so naive. Like we fall for anything, man. Just like the simplest stuff. We'll just, oh, it's crazy. So he's like, yeah, whatever. I got this. I'll make a phone call. And takes his cellular phone out of his pocket and he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, I think I found two candidates. I got two candidates for employment. I think I'm gonna bring them in for applications and the whole process, yada yada. And Devin and I are just standing. We're in the middle of a Walmart parking lot, and like midday, and we're just like, "This is awesome. This is like the coolest thing ever." Oh man, we're probably high too. Yeah, we did smoke marijuana back then. Sure did. So two stone young men, like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed out in the world trying to figure things out. Like 17, 16, 17 years old. Like, it was crazy, man. So Jack hangs up the phone and he no, you guys, go back. He says something, tell Josh to pull this out of the freezer. So boom, light bulb went off. At the beginning of the story, I told you we had a friend who worked there. His name was Josh. So we hear him say Josh. So now, like, it's real. Like, to us, we're looking at each other like, it's real deal. Like, this dude's official, man. So we got a job. That's cool. So he hangs up the phone, and we were like, you know, Josh works for you, huh? And he goes, yeah. It was just, and he's like, he's a good guy, man, good guy. And we're just falling hook, line, and sinker. Like, the guy's just pulling us in. We're giving him everything he needs to just take it from us. So he says all he needs from us, we have the job, is a ride to this one place.
What?
To get his car right off of the Highway 171, US Highway 171, to get his car out of the shop. He needs $100 to pay it. He needs a ride there, and he needs $100 to pay for the services that have been rendered. Okay, so between the two of us, we have like right there at $100. Like, but it's crazy because the $100 we had was for rent. Like, we were doing the best we could to make our part of the rent. And poor old Thurgood, he had no idea what was going to happen to him that day. Guy wasn't even a part of it. So there we go, hook, line, and sinker. We take off, let him hop in the car, like great conversationists. Like the whole time he tells us turn here, right here, and then. It dawned on me, like when I thought about it in retrospective, he did tell us to pull around the back. I don't know why we didn't catch that. So we drop him off. And he's like, all right, well, here's my number. And he gives us a business card, Applebee's business card, believe it or not. Applebee's uniform, name tag, Jack. Like, to any teenage kid that's just the slightest bit of green, like, this dude, we catch him all day long. He got us, you know. So we drop him off. He's like, call back in an hour. I'll be at the store. Just call either come up to the store, to the restaurant, or call up there and schedule to come sit down with me. We'll do all the paperwork. Like, the job's yours. You guys were phenomenal. You guys come through for me in the clutch like no one could. So we go. Like an hour later, I don't know what in God's name we went and did for an hour, but it was me and Devin. Like, we'll find something. We're good at getting into stuff. And an hour later, we called. And they said, we don't have a manager by the name of Jack here. We don't have anyone on our roster by the name of Jack. So, is Josh there? I ask. Yes. He is. They put us on hold. like 2-3 minutes later, they pick up. Oh, I'm sorry, Josh is actually off today. I was mistaken. Josh is not here. He hasn't. So Josh hasn't been there all day. No. You mind? They said you mind us asking who's calling? I said, just some guy who got jacked. Some guy who got jacked. And I hung up the phone. Talking to my friend later, our friend later. Turns out some guy did pay one of their like dishwashers like $10 to take his uniform shirt, steal him a name tag, and then he asked for the manager on duty, the hiring manager, asked for their business card. Went back and looked at that business card, and there it was. The dude literally scratched his name, the manager's name, out with a pen and wrote his name over it. But we didn't take the time to even look at that, you guys. We were too excited. We thought we had the missing piece to the puzzle. So, Devin and I had to break the news to old Thurgood when we got home. Pretty sure Thurgood put a hole in the wall at the apartment that night that we later covered up with a Martin Luther King Jr. poster. Boy, I know, Ghost, I know you listening to this right now, like, this dude really is telling this story. Yes, I am, because it's a phenomenal story for young men and women to know. Be aware. Don't fall for tricks. So we lost gas money. We lost our $100 of rent money. And we lost our pride. We had to go and tell the people this. Like, we'd tell Thurgood, like, hey, we don't have our rent money, dude. Like, I don't know, sorry. Like, we thought we had a job. Jobs. Plural. And then we met Jack, and Jack jacked us. I literally spent like the next 10 years of my life looking at the face of every short, below 5'2" African American male with light brown skin, prescription glasses, and a George Jefferson top to see if I recognize Jack somewhere on the streets. I still ain't never seen him. Never again. Thank you guys, man. I know this went a little longer than expected, but it's a story, man. I wanted to tell it the way it went. As best of my knowledge, it's close to verbatim, you know. But this is me. This is the story. Ghost, I know you with me. I know you smiling. And this is the lesson. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall. No, it's if you don't stand for something. That's what it is, you guys. If you don't stand for something, you will fall. You'll fall for anything. Young men, young women out there, take pride in yourselves. Take pride in anything you do. Know that you have a bigger, better, and greater calling. It's just up to you to find it. You can keep bumping your fists against that same brick wall, hoping things will change. But until you become the change, your world will remain the same. It's your boy, Bigwillthebarber 18, signing off from Big Will's story, Jack the CONman. We love you.